Let's take a step back, not just from the science of skincare, but into the ancient world, a time before chemical-laden cosmetics lined our shelves, before marketing campaigns told us what beauty meant, and before we forgot that nature had already provided most of what our skin actually needs. One of the oldest, most respected gifts from the earth is rose water. Not synthetic, not fabricated, just the essence of a flower that has stood the test of time, both for its fragrance and for its healing power. Now, it's easy to overlook rose water today. It sits quietly among louder, trendier ingredients, retinols, peptides, and acids. But I want to remind you of something critical. The body doesn't crave complexity, it craves balance. And rose water, in its simplicity, is profoundly balancing. The use of rose water dates back thousands of years, stretching from the gardens of Persia to the palaces of Egypt. Cleopatra herself was believed to bathe in rose-infused water, not just for its skin-softening qualities, but for the calming aura it created around her. In Ayurveda and traditional Unani medicine, rose water was known as both a topical healer and an internal tonic, used to cool the body, soothe inflammation, and restore emotional equilibrium. There was a deep wisdom in these practices, one that connected beauty with serenity, skincare with self-respect. What's fascinating is that today's science is catching up to what ancient healers already knew. Rose water contains flavonoids and antioxidants that fight oxidative stress. It has antibacterial properties that make it gentle yet effective against acne and skin infections. And its natural anti-inflammatory effects help calm redness, puffiness, and irritation, making it a go-to for sensitive skin types. No chemicals, no side effects, just rose petals and water working in harmony with your body. But this goes deeper than just molecular biology. It taps into something psychological, something spiritual. Think about what roses symbolize across cultures: love, purity, rebirth. When we apply rose water to our skin, we're not just toning or hydrating. We're engaging in a ritual that connects us to those deeper symbols. We're telling ourselves, I deserve care. I deserve softness. I deserve peace. There's also a kind of poetic power in the way rose water is made. The distillation process itself requires patience and gentleness, steam slowly coaxing the essence from delicate petals. You can't rush it. And perhaps that's another lesson for us in the modern world. Beauty that lasts doesn't come from speed. It comes from time, from thoughtfulness, from aligning with nature rather than dominating it. Many of us have spent years chasing miracle products, hoping for overnight transformations. We scrub, peel, and burn our skin into submission, forgetting that the skin is a living, breathing organ that needs nurturing, not punishment. Rose water reminds us to return to gentleness, not just in what we apply, but in how we think about our skin and ourselves. I often tell people your skin is a mirror, not just of your health, but of your habits, your thoughts, even your stress. And in that reflection, what you often see is not the damage from the outside, but the tension from within. This is where rose water becomes more than skincare. It becomes medicine for the nervous system. The scent alone has been shown to reduce cortisol levels. Just inhaling it can begin to reset your fight or flight response. So imagine this: a few drops on your skin in the morning, a few breaths in. Not a cosmetic routine, a moment of reconnection. That's the medicine we're missing. And perhaps most important of all, rose water is accessible. You don't need a prescription. You don't need a 200 serum. You don't even need a laboratory. You just need to trust the intelligence of the earth and the simplicity of your own hands. So if you're struggling with your skin, if you're tired of the noise, the products, the promises, go back to the basics. Go back to nature. Go back to what has always worked. Rose water isn't just an ingredient. It's a philosophy, one that says healing is possible, but it begins with respect for the body, for nature, and for the self. Let me leave you with this thought: the most powerful remedies are often the quietest ones. They don't scream for your attention. They wait patiently, like rose water in a bottle, ready to heal when you are ready to listen. So today, listen. Reclaim your skin, your time, your ritual. Let nature do what it has always done best: heal you gently, deeply, and from the inside out. Let's talk about something that often gets overlooked when we think about skin health. Not just what we put on our skin, but how our skin reacts to the environment around us. See, the human body is not a sealed box. It's a breathing, sensing, highly responsive ecosystem. And your skin, Being the largest organ you have is your front line. It's the border between your internal world and everything external: pollution, sun, stress, diet, emotions. Which means that even something as gentle and beautiful as rose water must be understood in context. Its real power lies not only in its ingredients, but in how it interacts with the very nature of your skin. Now, we all know skin has needs. But here's the question most people don't ask. What exactly is your skin asking for? It wants balance, not dryness, not oiliness, not excessive scrubbing, not constant covering. It's crying out for a return to harmony. And one of the greatest gifts rose water offers is its ability to restore your skin's pH balance. That might sound like chemistry class, but let me simplify it. Healthy skin naturally sits on a pH scale of about 4.5 to 5.5. That's slightly acidic. This delicate acidity is what allows it to fend off bacteria, stay hydrated, and avoid inflammation. But every time you use harsh soaps, heavy cleansers, alcohol-based toners, guess what happens? You strip away your skin's protective acid mantle. You throw off its pH. And that opens the door to everything from acne to premature aging. Now here's the beauty of rose water. It's naturally pH balanced, hovering right around that sweet spot your skin loves. It doesn't fight your biology, it supports it. It doesn't overcorrect, it realigns. And that's a big difference. When your skin's pH is in balance, it knows what to do. It holds moisture better. It defends itself more effectively. It even glows, not because of what you added, but because of what you stopped disturbing. But let's go even deeper. There's a psychological parallel here. Just as your skin becomes reactive and inflamed when its balance is thrown off, so does your mind. When we're constantly exposed to stress, external chaos, toxic relationships, the digital overload, we become like over-cleansed skin, raw, reactive, exhausted. And often, we try to fix it the same way we treat skin, with more layers, more distractions, more stimulation. But healing, real healing, comes from restoration, not complication. That's why the simplicity of rose water is so profound. In a world that pushes us to do more, use more, achieve more, it teaches us to return to equilibrium. A few drops on your face isn't just skincare, it's a moment of stillness. A pause, a breath, that's powerful medicine for both skin and soul. Let me share a story. I had a patient who was constantly battling flare-ups, eczema, redness, you name it. She tried every product, every treatment, and nothing seemed to work. Until she stripped her routine down to the bare essentials: gentle cleanser, moisturizer, and rose water morning and night. Not only did her skin improve, but she also said something that really stayed with me. She said, "For the first time, my face feels like it belongs to me again." That hit me deeply, because that's what we've lost: the sense of ownership over our bodies, our skin, our rituals. And this brings us to the deeper philosophy behind rose water and natural healing. It's not about controlling your body, it's about collaborating with it. Your skin knows how to heal, it just needs the right conditions. Think of rose water not as a quick fix, but as a gentle nudge back toward your natural rhythm. A quiet reminder that balance is possible, and it starts with what you choose to allow into your daily routine. Now, am I saying rose water will solve every skin problem? No. But I am saying that it can become a foundational part of your skincare journey, not because it overpowers, but because it restores. And restoration is the cornerstone of long-term health. So the next time you look at your skin in the mirror, ask yourself, am I helping it return to balance? Or am I unknowingly tipping it further out of alignment? If the answer leans toward imbalance, don't panic. Just return to the basics. Return to what supports, not stresses, your skin. Because sometimes the most intelligent thing we can do is the simplest thing. And in skincare, as in life, balance is not a luxury. It's a necessity. So here's your takeaway. Let your skincare be a reflection of your values. Choose balance over excess. Choose wisdom over hype. And remember that healing doesn't always come in the form of something new. Sometimes it's something ancient, something floral, something as simple as rose water. Let's talk about inflammation. A word we often hear tossed around in wellness circles, but rarely stop to understand in the context of skin health. Inflammation isn't just a visible reaction like redness or swelling. It's your body's internal alarm system. When that alarm is triggered too often or for too long, the results can be chronic, subtle, and deeply damaging. And yes, it affects your skin just as profoundly as it affects your heart or joints, whether you're dealing with acne, rosacea, or just persistent skin sensitivity. Inflammation is usually the underlying current pulling you off balance. Now here's the good news. Nature has its own built-in fire extinguisher. And one of its gentlest, most fragrant forms is rose water. This isn't just old wives' lore or a beauty fad handed down from grandmothers. This is real, observable biochemical action. Rose water contains compounds, particularly flavonoids and terpenes, that are scientifically recognized for their anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. That's not hype. That's cellular truth. When you apply rose water to irritated skin, what you're actually doing is delivering a calming message straight to the inflammatory receptors on the skin's surface. You're telling them, you're safe now. You can relax. Think of it like this: inflammation is your body in a fight or flight mode. Rose water helps it return to rest and repair. And when your skin enters that calm, regenerative state, that's when the magic happens. That's when healing begins. But let's zoom out for a second, because the relationship between inflammation and stress isn't limited to biology. It's mirrored in your psychology. Think about your life. When we're emotionally inflamed, angry, anxious, overstimulated, we react. Our communication breaks down. Our decisions become impulsive. We overcorrect or under-respond. It's chaos. Skin behaves no differently. The more we stress it, the more reactive it becomes. The more we soothe it, the more resilient it becomes. That's why incorporating something as subtle and non-invasive as rose water into your skincare routine is more than a cosmetic decision. It's a philosophical one. You're choosing not to fight your body, but to cooperate with it. You're deciding to reduce the noise, not increase it. And this shift in mindset from fighting to facilitating changes everything. Let me share a powerful case. A young woman came into my practice burdened with cystic acne and low self-esteem. She tried every aggressive treatment under the sun: antibiotics, peels, even steroid injections. Her skin was raw, constantly inflamed, and emotionally, she was running on fumes. I told her something radical: strip everything back. No harsh treatments, no 10-step routines. Just 2 weeks of cleansing gently, moisturizing minimally, and using rose water compresses twice a day. She looked at me like I'd lost my mind. But 2 weeks later, she came back with tears in her eyes. Her skin hadn't cleared completely. Of course, it takes time, but for the first time in years, it wasn't angry, it wasn't hurting, and neither was she. She said, "I feel like I can breathe again." That's the power of calming inflammation, not just on the skin, but in the spirit. We often overlook the profound role that calmness plays in healing, but as a physician, I can tell you calm is not passive. It's an active state of restoration, and it requires intention. It requires the humility to step back and allow the body's innate intelligence to do what it was designed to do: heal. Rose water isn't some miracle cure, but it is a gentle ally, a supportive tool. And in the world of skincare, especially when dealing with inflammation, gentle is often more effective than forceful. It's about allowing the skin to exhale, to feel heard, not just treated. So when you feel like your skin is screaming, when it's inflamed or breaking out or just constantly on edge, ask yourself, am I trying to silence it with harsher products, or am I trying to listen to it with compassion? That distinction matters. And here's where I want to leave you with a challenge. For the next week, let your skincare be a ritual of gentleness. Replace one product in your routine with pure, natural rose water. Apply it slowly, mindfully. Observe not just how your skin reacts, but how you feel. You might notice something deeper beginning to shift, not just in your complexion, but in your mindset. Because healing starts when inflammation ends, not just in our bodies, but in our lives. And sometimes, all it takes is one drop of calm in a world of chaos. Let me take you behind the scenes into your kitchen, not your pharmacy. We're going to talk about how you can make your own rose water at home. And let me be clear, this isn't just a fun DIY project. It's a conscious act of self-care, rooted in ancient tradition and backed by modern science. When you make something for your skin with your own hands, something shifts in you. You become an active participant in your own healing. You stop being just a consumer of wellness and become a creator of it. Now, most people assume rose water is difficult to make, or that you need a lab kit to do it properly. That's simply not true. You need just a few things: fresh rose petals, organic if you can get them, a pot with a lid, distilled water, and a bit of patience. What you're doing essentially is distillation. That's the same process ancient herbalists and modern pharmaceutical labs both use to extract the soul of a plant. And when it comes to roses, that soul is incredibly therapeutic. Here's how it works. You start by rinsing your petals gently to remove dust or particles. Place them in a pot, just enough to cover the bottom, and pour in enough distilled water to submerge them halfway. Don't flood them. Too much water dilutes the potency. Then place a small heat, safe bowl in the center of the pot and invert the lid upside down. As the water heats and turns to steam, the rose's essential components are drawn out, condensed on the underside of the lid, and drip back into the bowl. That's your rose water, pure, unadulterated, and alive with natural compounds your skin recognizes instantly. And what I love about this process is how meditative it is. You're not just watching water boil, you're witnessing transformation. It's almost poetic, turning petals into elixir. And the care you bring to the process is, in many ways, transferred into the remedy itself. This is something science is only beginning to acknowledge the role of intention in healing. The placebo effect, for example, isn't fake. It's your body responding powerfully to belief and care. So imagine how much more powerful a treatment becomes when you not only believe in it, but make it yourself. There's also a psychological shift that happens when you take control of your remedies. In modern life, we're bombarded with external solutions, prescriptions, serums, advertisements, all promising to fix what's wrong with us. But when you stand at your stove, petals in hand, crafting a solution yourself, you're sending your brain a different message. I am capable. I can heal. I can contribute to my own wellness. That is not just empowering, it's transformative. And let's not forget the ecological impact. By making rose water at home, you eliminate packaging waste, preservatives, and harsh chemicals. You reduce your carbon footprint, reconnect with nature, and simplify your skincare. You return to the basics, something our skin and our souls have been craving for a long time. Now, I always remind people cleanliness and care are essential. Use only distilled water to prevent bacterial contamination. Store the finished product in a sterilized glass bottle in the refrigerator and use within a week or two. If you ever notice a change in smell or color, don't use it. Safety is part of wisdom. And here's the final insight I want to leave you with. This practice of making rose water isn't just about the product. It's about what it represents. It represents a return to rhythm, a slower, more intentional way of caring for ourselves. In a world where everything is instant and synthetic, rose water stands as a symbol of patience, purity, and presence. It asks us to slow down, to pay attention, to honor what's real. Because when you take that first spritz of rose water on your skin, a few cool droplets infused with nature's intelligence, you're not just hydrating, you're remembering. You're reconnecting with a wisdom that predates the pharmaceutical age. You're telling your body, I see you. I care for you. I trust you. And sometimes that small ritual, a bowl of petals, a pot of steam, a few mindful breaths is all it takes to begin a much bigger journey toward healing. So, my friends, the next time you reach for a product on a shelf, pause. Ask yourself, could I create this? Could I bring life to something with my own hands? And in doing so, bring new life to myself? That's not just a question. It's an invitation. Because true wellness doesn't come from a bottle. It comes from engagement, from intention, from the quiet rituals we choose to repeat every day. And that's the real beauty of rose water. Not just what it does for your skin, but what it reminds you about yourself.